Hey. Hello. So, let's see where to start. It's Sunday, or no, Saturday, and you know, let me see if this is on. I guess it's still on. Yeah. So I just was gonna do a live stream because I was feeling a little lethargic or something, lackadaisical. Yesterday was like, I don't know, peculiar, sort of. I guess I've been setting like alarms to make sound each day, and like just constant, like so that it's just like, every so often it happens to try to remind the self. And anyways, I did it one time yesterday. Like I was gonna go for a walk and try to do 10 sounds and 10 posts on TikTok or whatever, but I just did one, and it was just kind of fresh for what it's worth. No, I mean the post was decent. It wasn't anything really special, but it just like was like a thing where it combined, electronic sound making and vocal, like for the first time or something, and it was just like, I don't know, nice or something to do those things or combine them, because it was just like each of the elements took a little bit of focus in a separate sense to try to be able to do, and then like to do them together, those two things was kind of interesting and such. And I don't know, by the time it was done and I posted it to TikTok, I was just like not like done for the day, but it's something I wanted to continue to make them, but you have to do the titling, and that took a few minutes and stuff, and a little distracting, and I posted the link wrong, so I had to repost it, and it's still actually wrong, because if you put capital letters, it seems like it actually still messes it up. It messes up the link. I thought one letter was another letter, so I changed it and tried to make it all capital so it was easy to understand the affiliate link. And then I found out that it has to be lowercase, otherwise the link won't work, which is weird. Wouldn't have guessed. So yeah. Beyond that, I don't know where I'm at. I think I'm still a little sick with things a little bit, but it was just kind of like, it's a combination of like some like hope, I suppose, to say the least, just like that, like posting those sort of vids and sound, that there's hope, that there's sort of an ability to do more. Like I wanted to do 10 like straight away, or continue to just do as many as possible, but I just sort of got, I don't know. I'm like reflecting on yesterday. It's strange that I didn't do more the rest of the day, like once I finished posting that one and reposting it. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like a concept that those two things of electronic sound and like vocal was on the same thing, and it made a different like, not product, but a different sound than before. And it's something I've just wanted to do for a while, like a long time. And so I don't know. I really don't know if that's what it came down to, because I've been making sounds, I've been doing vocals, but just not putting them in the same boat just yet. And that was the first one where it did, but it's just like, it's still not a big deal. But it's just, for what it's worth, something I've wanted to do for a while. So I'm not sure if internal there was like a thought to just be like, okay, so that was good to do that, and then feel fine about not doing more, because that was something I've just wanted to do as a thing, but in its own way, in its own self, in of itself, in other words, for a long time. I've wanted to do that for a long time, just making the sound and the vocal, and then try to merge them. It was just like, I was trying to do 10 and do a bunch of them, so to try to start momentum for the brand to do that. But just like the concept, I guess, that like I did it once and it just happened, and it took a long time to get to that time. For what it's worth, like just like a few years. It's not a big deal though, really, because I've been making sound, I've been doing the vocal practicing. It's just like a cappella. But the fact that they came together somehow like made me just stop for the rest of the day, which was just strange because I could have probably done more, but it was strange. Like it just, not emotionally, but subconsciously stopped me, which was strange, again, and just for what it's worth. So that one TikTok is like a little symbol of just doing that for myself real quick. It's just like a symbol, and I'm hoping to just kind of consume that concept that it occurred and hope that it's, possible to improve on that, but that it's possible that it, the things that have been coming together on the live stream more or less, or like that I've been talking about over the last few weeks, have tried to come together in a similar way. It's like different elements that are coming together, like also on the live stream, just talking about, being verbal in a verbal sense, but then like it's being sort of backed by actions that I'm doing in the background, like posting of certain, of the things that I'm referring to or talking about making sound, and then actually making them in the background when I'm not live streaming, for example. And those are things that the live stream all helped me to do. So the live stream is part of it. I don't know. So I think it was just kind of a time to just like subconsciously be like, oh, okay, like that little encounter happened or occurred, so to speak. So just kind of like reflect, try not to just, go past it and try to do more of these types of sounds, which I'll probably screw up and make even worse. And then like the brand will, I'll dig a hole for myself in the brand that I'll have to try to dig myself out of later, type of thing, in terms of content that's less than ideal, and just maybe try to reflect a little and see if there's some more good or interesting content could come from just reflecting a little bit. One of the bass sounds I was thinking about, in addition to like ambient, which I'm listening to now, was the song Teardrop by Massive Attack, before trying to do the little weird social post yesterday that just did the EDA, like the electronic and vocal sounds combined. And for what it's worth, like that was sort of a weird, inspiring song to begin the day with, in terms of like mentality and vibe going into the post. But I don't know, like it's just sort of a reflection still. Even this little live stream is just a reflection of that. I don't know where I'm at, like in time and space. It's just interesting. It's all interesting. It's just trying to reach more into the depths of the unknown, and in terms of like, location, where to be in the next, few months, or to settle for longer term. I don't know, all of those like that stuff in an exact sense. I don't think it's right where I am necessarily in the long-term sense. So it'll I think entail some location changing in the short and long term. So that is what it is. But it's just sort of a reflection, like it's just interesting to see like how things flow. But whatever. Working back from that little encounter, it was just interesting. It is what it is. Not really worth caring too much over. It's just something that, like, for better or worse, like having vocal and like electronic sound that just was made, and put in a center place with the two things at the same time to make that type of sound, for what it's worth, it's taken a long time to try to figure out. I wasn't sure if it was recording. And I don't know what it is worth. This is just like a reflective, silly moment to reflect, honestly. That's all this is. That's all this feels like. And that's fine, because it is what it is. I feel like down, like not like down, but just like somber not somber, but a little lethargic, type of thing. Something to that effect. Still a little bit like in the state of slunkiness from partial sick feeling from a couple days ago, that yesterday didn't feel actually present, which is good because I slept a lot the night before yesterday. And but today it's kind of like back, but at the same time it's still just like a subconscious vibe or feeling or something that's just like, it's kind of like stopping instead of trying to do more content like my alarm is trying to tell me to do now. You can hear it, the alarms. There's a lot of them. So the purpose is to just kind of like reflect and just kind of hope that there's any receptivity in this. And that's all this is, a reflection to myself, more or less, to the third eye that is this live stream camera, in hopes of just like, reception of the sound somehow, for it to take shape as a brand and ability for the sound to be embraced to a certain degree, to be symbolized for somehow trying to do like some charitable stuff and partnerships on the back end of the sounds and the awareness that can come from being present in media, so to speak. Whereas like a week or something ago, it's just like, or two, it was just like nothing, like no one had ever known or heard of Dinky Tech. And even this live stream doesn't count because nobody watches this. This is just base, backdrop reference information and or video for if anyone was ever in a research mood, because when you Google the name, it doesn't even come up if you're trying to research like Dinky Tech, which is what it is. Because there's not enough like followers, there's nothing on the business profile. So that'll do it, because there hasn't been any awareness like or promotion put towards that, and it's just me doing this, which is again sort of practice. It's foundational, as I just said, for the brand building stuff. So anyways, I'll try to wrap this up. It's just kind of like an addition to yesterday, I guess, where which included stopping the sound making and the live and such, and the posting after the first post, because of just sort of a reflection of just like, oh wow, okay, a little like appreciation for a long road, like for, I guess, I really don't know, subconsciously is what caused it. I didn't intend for it to stop, but after the first post I was just like, there was a thing of just kind of like, wow, I put the things together. Took a long time to make each of the things, like to make some of the sound or have a process or strategy to do it, which still needs to be refined a lot, probably on the vocal and the sound making process. But then there's also the visual side of it, which is really not that special at all in the post. That's for damn sure. So all these things need to be worked on a lot, but it's just like, I don't know, the things came together. I am old now, like I'm very old, I feel like, in terms of number wise, and it's been over, I don't know, a couple decades that I wanted to do that post yesterday, for what it's worth, like just the sound and the vocal coming together to make a sound that entails, a sound of its own. And it's really, again, not a big deal, but I think subconsciously I needed to just, not needed to, but just did, like just have a second to just sit and just try to be like, hope that there's any ability for that to be received somewhat in the greater sense, because like, yeah, it's been a long road for it to end, because like the brand is like built around that being the cherry on the top of the cake, the sound making, if you will, and like the brand building and mindset has all taken a long time before the sound making, and the sound making is just the cherry. So it's kind of a symbol of just like the cake being done. That's the part, that's what the subconscious thing of just like, oh, take a second and take the day to reflect on the cake, I think was just trying to maybe tell myself, because I didn't expect it when I started to take a walk and started to try to make sounds, like 10 of them was the goal in that walk. And anyway, so this is just a reflection of yesterday, so that there's some content today, because I still feel lethargic. I don't feel like getting on the the getting onto the recording thing again, the metaphor for some sort of digital platform to play from, like that. It's like not a stage, but just an outlet, and that outlet is what I'm referring to, because that's what my alarms say to myself. It's like the outlet is open, it's available. That's what they're telling me, is it's available right now. There's one going off saying the outlet is present to be used, and that little like reinforced message on my alarms again and again is what got me to do them, to put the things together and like do it in that day at that time. It's to try to push myself to actually follow through, and which I've had the alarms set for a couple months actually now, but I haven't been using them, and they've just been off on my phone for a while, but I had to activate all of them again. And in doing that, just push myself to that time and place to be able to do that. But that's why having someone, an actual person in the background to help with accountability, is an ideal thing. Because that would help with just trying to actually do more on the day-to-day, because it's more about doing it for them than it is for an alarm or a camera. The third eye is very helpful, meaning the live stream, but it's almost not the same as a person who you can talk to and be like, try to do actions just for that person. It's powerful to have that person present. And oh nice, the sounds came back. So yeah, that's all for now. Just a quick reflection for what it's worth. I think I'm over this live stream. Not over the live stream, but just over trying to waste anybody else's time out there trying to make sense of what I'm talking about, while at the same time still trying to close this out in an effective way. Hold on, let me see if we're still recording. Maybe not. Shit. Oh, maybe it is. There's a lot of light, so I can barely see the screen. But anyway, yeah, I'll wrap it up there. I don't know. It's been a couple decades. I still have, I still doubt there'll be a receptivity in the meantime by a lot in terms of the sounds and the promotion. And there's a business in the background, like a consulting business and a brokerage and an agency in the background that needs the funneling from the front end of Dinky Tech sounds to get to the back end, and leads to turn into business and convert in the background to the consulting, business and brokerage. And then beyond that, there's a media platform that wants to be built if we can get through stage 2. The first stage is obviously leads coming from the sound making, then which is where the light is trying to show from the sounds, and then hopefully the leads go into the brokerage and we can convert them to any different business services. Excuse me. Such as raising money through crowdfunding, having marketing, selling a business, those types of things. But then on the flip side, there's something symbolized by something called Edward 2, which is a combination of LVMH and Tesla, meaning we can manufacture our own products. And we want to invent, I tried to make a car a few years ago at cannar.weebly.com. You can view that car. It wasn't finished by the manufacturers, but that's why it's a combination of LVMH and Tesla. Those are active products, and it's possible we can go to those and make those through manufacturing, just like LVMH does. But a lot of partnerships are had and are symbolized by LVMH, as well as Palace and Supreme. Partnerships are symbolized. So partnerships is a big thing and a very necessary part of that process. So That's why it's a big deal to have the outreach on the front end, the light of the sound making, the sound sermon, if you will, sometimes sound sermons or sounds, to be able to bring attention into the brand, to be able to have this stuff on the back end, or to be able to have funds to make items like 3D printed cars, jewelry, collaborations for fashion stuff, or not fashion stuff, but art stuff that's printed onto stuff like Nike makes. Nike's in the background doing an event. So we're trying to combine these brands, or the synergy or the power, to be able to do more philanthropy in the whole world and have an influence in the whole world in marketplace. And that's what the third phase, which is the media platform, which will be like a crypto-based platform, similar to what Twitter is trying to be, but also very different, like a social media thing that's trying to turn people energy into monetary energy, as opposed to just using existing monetary energy and facilitating social media like X is trying to do, or Twitter. Anyways, I'll leave it there. That's about it. That's just sort of the reflection of the where it's at, where we're trying to go, and hoping to expand into new parts of the world so we can do live streams and such, and grow publicity, so there are people watching this stream someday in the future perhaps that we can hopefully idealize, continuing to become more full circle, as we tried to complete the circle yesterday, to have a cherry on the cake. So now we have a cake, and to be able to try to move forward and add more value to this process that hopefully entails publicity and a back end of just internal and external polls that correspond to pools of value. And we continue to grow those so the water continues to flow where the light can go. Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll end there. Thanks again, Dinky Tech. Bye.